This video is called I'm 45. If you're in your 30s, watch this. And oh my gosh, I just turned 30, bro. It's all downhill from here.
I'm 45, and if you're in your 30s, watch this. When you hit your 40s, you're going to see two types of people: those who took care of themselves and those who did not. Health isn't optional. In your 20s, you can get away with a lot, but in your 30s, your habits compound for better or for worse. Next, you lose 3 to 8% of muscle every decade after 30, and this rate accelerates after 60. Lifting weights is an investment in your future self. And maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but when you lift weights, especially after the ages of 60, 70, 80, this is what keeps
Exercise is important.
you functional as you age. It's way better to be the oldest person in the weight room than the youngest person in the nursing home. Number 3, you
Oh shit.
are what you eat. The foods you take in are investments in your present and future energy, mood, and health. If you're feeling like shit, look no further than the fuel you're putting into your body. And there have been plenty of studies that have been done that shows the types of nutrients that you put into your
I've been trying to eat a lot better.
body are what contribute to either positive or negative mental health. Number 4, you are also when you eat. One of the most underrated tools to getting healthy is to create the best meal schedule for you.
Yet.
It's a concept called circadian nutrition, and it's quite simple. You would eat your final meal at least 3 to 5 hours before bed, and this lets your body digest and improve the quality of your sleep. You would eat your first meal at least 1 to 2 hours upon waking to regulate your appetite, your hunger, and also to turn on your circadian rhythms. And if you want, you put a meal in between those two, and then when you do this for about 7 days,
I usually eat 2 meals a day. I don't eat 3 meals, maybe a snack.
your body will start to adapt to the times that you're eating. Number 5, sleep is the best performance enhancing drug on the planet, and it's completely free. At a bare minimum, you should be aiming for at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night, aiming for similar sleep and wake times. And to enhance the quality of your sleep, focus on fixing your environment so you can make sleep evergreen. Most people won't admit, but when you fix your horrible sleep habits, you fix a lot of problems in life. Number 6 is to care about your appearance. Everyone says not to judge a book by its cover, but what do people do? They judge a book by its cover. And if you want to care about your appearance, it starts with your body, taking care of it, putting in the right foods, lifting, exercising, moving, sleeping. And then we get into the finer details, which is your haircut, the clothes that you wear. You don't need to be a fashionista. You just need to care about how you look. And then once you start doing this and start caring about your appearance, you will see that people will treat you a lot differently, and that's for the better. Number 7 is to embrace new technology. When I was in my 30s, it was the internet. Now that I'm in my 40s, it's AI. Whatever the new technology is, use it as much as you can.
Wow, yeah, that's true. When I was probably 5 years old, I was playing games on a computer. And then there was the internet. Now it's AI.
And because this will put you ahead of everyone else that is not using it. Number 8 is to desexualize your brain as soon as possible. One of the best things that I've ever done for my life was to quit watching porn, which I talked about in this video. And it's not just about watching porn. It's about not clicking on them Instagram tot accounts. Or even right now where Elon just came out with the AI versions of these partners or people that you'll have relations with. It's weird shit. But again, desexualize your brain. And one thing that you will do with that energy is to divert that energy into the development of self. Number 9, one of the best habits that you can ever bring into your life is to walk. Walk when you're stressed. Walk when you're angry. Walk when you need a little bit of creativity. Walk to gain clarity. Walking is the most
It really does help a lot.
underrated exercise on the planet. It helps you burn calories, it's accessible, it's sustainable, it improves brain function, it reduces stress. And if you're looking for a walking workout, I create a free guide on the walking workout
Tom,
that
what
we
is
use
up,
to
yo?
help our clients burn belly fat. Drop a comment down below that says walk and I'll send it to you. Number 10. Money is a great slave, but a horrible master. Something you have to understand is that you want to use it to buy your freedom, not status. One of the first steps is just to clear off any consumer debt that you may have and put that as your focus. And then after that, you want to get into investing in assets and also investing in yourself. And this reminds me of a tweet some guy put out on X a long time ago. And he said, buy a Rolex, and go into debt if you have to. And his way of rationalizing this to himself was the fact that he attracted his mate because he had a Rolex, and he also attracted more business
Yeah, I
as a
don't think that's
result
how
of
that
his
works.
Rolex as well. And I have to tell you that, especially if you're in your 30s, this is one of the worst things that you can do. If you attract a partner based on the clothes that you wear or the watch that you're wearing, then you are going to get exactly what you paid for. If you need to wear a Rolex so you can attract more business, it also means that you lack the skills to properly persuade people to do business with you. A lot of things that people buy is just to elevate their status, whether they admit it to themselves or not, and I would rather not play that game and use that money to invest in myself. Number 11, this is self-explanatory, but just stop asking advice from people who have never been where you want to be. Number 12, stop thinking it's too late. When I was 24, I had a decision on whether I would keep on climbing the corporate ladder or go into something that I loved, which was being a fitness coach. Now, this was during a time where fitness coaching is not popular as it is right now. There was no Instagram, there was no social media. And I'll tell you, at 24, I thought it was too late to switch careers. Crazy. And at the age of 30, I had the decision to stick with my job, which was being a personal trainer, which I was doing really well at, or starting my own business. And let me tell you, at 30 years old, I thought it was too late to start a business. So let me tell you something. At 30, you're not late. You're actually early. And you finally have enough wisdom to know what matters and enough time to build it. So forget about this whole too late nonsense, because at 30, you are just literally getting started. Number 13 needs to be said, especially in the times that we're living in right now, which is if you are easily offended, you are easily manipulated. Stop taking shit personally. You can take this a step further by adopting a mental frame called API, which is to always assume positive intent. Life is way too short to give mental energy to slights and perceived insults. And this leads me to one of the most important points of this video, number 14, where your biggest mental superpower is the ability to control your perception. Something you have to understand is that reality is not actually reality. Your perception is your reality, and your perception is trained through the people that you hang around, the environment that you're in. You are this chemistry set of these beliefs and perceptions that you have adopted in life. And if you want a better life, you need to change the lens of which you look at the world. And the way I know this is because I can take two people with the exact same background and also give them the exact same circumstances and put them through the same situation, and you can get two wildly different types of perceptions in regards to that situation. What most people don't realize is that you can actually choose a perception that empowers you the most and that moves you forward, but most people don't take advantage of this. Now, number 15 is the way you change your reality is to start with how you think. Your thoughts create your beliefs, which lead to your actions, which in turn become your reality. If you want to change your reality, look no further than your level of thinking. And
thoughts create reality.
You can change your thoughts. It does take effort, but you can do this. Number 16 is to stop framing things that didn't work out as a failure and frame them as an iteration. Imagine if Thomas Edison tried to create a light bulb for the first time, and then he just said, okay, well, that didn't work. I guess it's a failure. That guy had to go through 10,000 iterations to create something that we use every single day. And here's something about being successful at anything that you probably heard before. Your rate of iteration is equal to your rate of success. So if you want to succeed faster, do more experiments. Iterate faster. Number 17, never judge a person based on what they say. Judge them based on what they do. Behavior is the most accurate way of assessing character, especially when it comes to the people you allow into your life. Number 18 is to learn from people you disagree with. In one of my other videos, I talked about advice that I give to people in their 40s over here. And a lot of the comments came back that said, oh, I disagree with that one thing you said, therefore I stopped watching the video. And to me, this is a sign of just trying to protect your ego and staying in an echo chamber. Most times when people disagree with others, they see it as a reflection of their entire personality when it's just like one thing that they disagree with. And you will get so much farther in life when you stay objective and you allow yourself to learn from people you actually disagree with. Or you can stay in your echo chamber and keep on thinking the same thoughts over and over and over. We'll see how that works. Number 19 is not mine. It was actually from Alan Watts, and it is about forgiving the 4 people in your life. The first one is your parents. And something that I realized, especially as I got older, was resenting the people that gave me life was like taking a poison pill and expecting them to get hurt. And after I became a parent, I became so much more appreciative of what they did. What I realized is that every single generation and every single type of family, they all deal with different shit and they all come with different tools. And it's on us to accept it and forgive them. And you don't have to hang around them, especially if you don't like them, but it will release a lot of resentment and anger, which will be freed up energy for you to do what you want. The next one is the people you
Peace.
once loved who didn't stay. This could be your exes, it could be others, but essentially we don't want to be carrying around the burden of always thinking back to these people we once had relations with. You got to learn and just move on. Third one is people who actually wronged you. And the last one is going to be yourself. And forgiveness is this thing where you allow yourself to let go of the resentment. The more you hold on to these resentments, the more it just holds you back and the more it just makes you angry. I'm always optimizing for becoming the best version of myself. And one of the things that I have to learn is to learn from those situations, forgive, and just move on. Number 20, if you want better results in life, look at the people you surround yourself with. And if they don't match the reality you want to build, unfortunately, you're going to have to find a better group, which actually leads me to the next point. Number 21, you become smarter by being the dumbest person in the room. You become fitter by being the least fit person in the gym. We have to stop protecting our egos and actually get around people who are levels ahead of us. And something I realized by continually doing this in my life is that you just level up by process of osmosis. You see how
Not about acting dumb and listening. It's about being in places where everyone's smarter than you. Or they're in the gym and everyone else is more fit than them. That's why they're there.
they act, you see how they think, you see how they behave. And then when you hang around people who are behaving and thinking at a level higher than you, you will start to adopt that same level inside of your own life. Number 22, most people think that a great life is about money, cars, and houses, when the reality is that a great life is actually based on things that money can't buy, which is doing a job that you love doing, being healthy, having a great family, having great relationships. If there's one thing I'm always focused on is making sure I don't over-index on these external measures of success and index way heavily on the ones that create a fulfilling life. Number 23, a great life comes from focusing on the right constraints. And from my experience, you have two constraints that you should focus on with two wildly different strategies. Constraint number one is the bottleneck. So what is the one thing that holds you back from achieving the thing that you want? We want to go in and we want to fix that. We want to subordinate everything so we can make that the priority. And then once you fix it, then you will be one step closer to achieving the thing that you want. Something I realized watching the greatest entrepreneurs on the planet is they're not necessarily focused on adding more things. They're actually looking at optimizing and removing these bottlenecks and these constraints. So success is actually less about addition and more about subtraction. Now, the second type of constraint is to place one in your life that helps you uphold your values. Do you want to build a successful business? Well, can you get home at 5 o'clock every single night so you can have dinner with your family? That is the constraint. Can you maintain your health while building that business? That is another constraint. What the second level constraints do is they uphold the things that mean the most to you while you're achieving this thing, which is super fun. And then this is actually what makes a full life. Number 24 is to use the 3 levels of learning. So level 1 is consumption. It's what you're doing right now. And this is the shallowest of all levels of learning. Level 2 is application. This turns knowledge into actual experience. And level 3 is teaching. It's what I'm doing to you right now. This turns experience into wisdom. When you apply all 3, you are able to learn things at a deeper level. Number 25 is to understand that your emotions are your responsibility. Something I wish they taught in high school or even my own house was the ability to manage my emotions. And I remember sometimes I would even get into arguments with my wife and I would be like, you made me feel this way. She would always correct me, which I love, because of the fact that I'm the one that is feeling that. I'm the one that actually created that feeling. I should not blame that feeling on anyone else. Maybe they're a part of it, but if I'm to take responsibility, I'm the person that felt that. So the second part is understanding how to manage our emotions. And this is actually something that we're trying to teach our daughters right now. Because you are a human being, you will feel emotions, so why not learn a system that helps you manage them instead of blaming them on everyone else? Which leads me to 26, which is to take ownership of every single result in your life. This means getting away from victimhood mentality. It may not be your fault, but it's always your responsibility. And when you blame others, you lose agency. You give them power. Personal power means to avoid blaming others for shit that's happening in your own life. Number 27 is to be a goal-driven individual. Your mind is a goal-seeking machine.
Like how we play RuneScape. When you're trying to hit goals in game, to do better so you can do the next thing. If that's how you play the game, and if you apply that to real life, you'll go far in both.
And most times people give it the wrong goals. You need something to focus on. You need a goal, or it will be given to you. So when I first became a trainer, I was trying to move up the ranks, and I was listening and reading all the articles I could. And there was an article by Paul Chek, who, by the way, is one of the most legendary fitness coaches on the planet, and it was about goal setting. And at the end of it, he said that people are more likely to achieve their goals if they write them down. He had an action step where he said, hey, write down 20 goals, see exactly what happens. Nothing was really going for me at that time, so I decided to give it a shot. I wrote down my 20 goals. Some of them were just wildly outside of my reality, which was like to be the top trainer at that gym. Once I wrote it down, I put it in my desk and just completely forgot about it. About 6 months later, I happened to open up the drawer of my desk, and then I see this piece of paper which has my 20 goals. I end up picking up this paper, pulling it out, and I'm looking at the goals, and I'm crossing out at least like half of that list. One of them was to be the top trainer at my gym. And that was my first taste of what goal setting can do for you. And since then, I've refined my process where I can literally take the biggest goals that I've ever thought about and make them into realistic steps. And I'll tell you what my system is right now so you can copy it. You start with a 3-year vision. I think one of the best books around creating a vision for yourself is called Vivid Vision by Cameron Herold. And he takes you through the step on how to create that 3-year vision. Once you set that 3-year vision, you're going to break it down into a 1-year goal. You're going to ask yourself, what do I have to do this year in order to get myself closer to the vision?
In 3 years, I want to be turbocharging my 6-cylinder engine swap Volkswagen and making more YouTube videos about that.
Then you're going to break that 1-year goal down into quarterly projects.
And hopefully by then I've done that and I'm working on other project cars.
Quarterlies are broke down into monthly tasks, and those tasks are broken into...
Or I would like to do some type of road trip vlog travel content.
To weekly tasks, and those tasks are scheduled inside of my calendar to be done every single day. And one of the things that I've done is make sure that I knock down at least 3 of those tasks so I can keep on moving forward. Whenever we're thinking about...
But working on the cars and filming that allows me to also stream.
About creating any kind of result in our life, we have to start at the end and work our way back. And then once you can make a goal look like a reality and create the tasks, and
if I'm on the road, maybe if I'm doing some kind of travel vlogs, it might be a different form of streaming. But I guess, yeah, it's true.
The steps to get there, you're going to realize that every single thing that we want in life is attainable. Now, this leads me to number 28, which is the paradox, the antithesis to what I just said. So when you set a goal, that becomes the destination. Think about it as creating the destination on a GPS. Once that is created, you know exactly what it is. After that, you must focus on the process. And I'll throw something in there. See ways in which you can have fun doing the process. And I'll tell you right now, which is something that you realize probably by attaining some of the goals in your life, where you don't really feel happy once you attain the goal. The happiness was the striving. The happiness was the pushes, the work that you were doing, the process. So one of my favorite rappers, his name is Russ. He has a line that says, I enjoy the climb. I don't care where the summit is. And this is what encapsulates this point. When you focus hard on each and every step, you end up making the journey way more fun and exciting. And then this allows you to play an infinite game where you're getting the most joy out of doing the process and doing the work as opposed to achieving attainment. Now, 29 is achieving a goal is not about getting things. It's actually about becoming the person who attracts the goal as a result of who they are. A goal changes you. It levels you up. You literally cannot be the same person achieving a bigger goal than you were before that. You need new behaviors. You need new ways of thinking. So as you are doing this journey, as you're on this process, focus on the behaviors that it would take for you to attain this goal. and then keep on repeating those over and over and over until they become who you are. Now, number 30 is something that a mentor told me, which has stuck with me to this day. The shortcut is the long path. The long path is the shortcut. Think of all the times you tried to lose weight as quickly as possible. Think of all the times that you tried to get money as quickly as possible. How did those things end up? The thing about chasing shortcuts is you take away the skills that you need in order to just keep the result that you were trying to attain in the first place. When it comes to getting things in life, you want to choose the long path because it is always going to be the shortest. Number 31, the 3 most important decisions you're going to make is what you do, who you do it with, which means like who you partner up with, and also where you live. And when you think about these 3 things, they are where you're going to be spending your most time. So you must make those decisions wisely. Second last one right here is going to be the formula for success. And I swear to you, if you follow this and you apply this to anything you want in life, you will be ahead of 90% of people who don't. Step 1 is to show up. Show up when you're motivated. Show up when you're not motivated. Show up when you're feeling it. Show up when you're not feeling it. Just this step alone puts you ahead of 80% of people who only show up when they feel like doing it. Step 2, when you're there, do the work. It sounds easy, but there's a difference between deep work and shallow work. You want to remove all distractions and focus in on what you are doing. Put full attention on the work you need to do, and you will be rewarded with riches. And the last step, which is the most overlooked part, is to look for ways to improve. So you can be showing up, you can be doing the work, but if you're showing up and doing the work on the wrong things, then you're not necessarily going to move forward. This is why I have adopted a mindset of Kanai, which is constant and never-ending improvement. You can always look for ways to get better at anything you do. I've used this formula to get myself in shape, to build businesses, to grow in social media. It is simple, but don't take it for easy. And I swear, apply this part to your life and you will be way ahead of everyone else that doesn't. And here's the final one. People overestimate what they can do in 6 weeks, but they underestimate what they can do in a year. Imagine all those things that you just quit because it got a little bit too hard and you stuck with it for a full year. You would be way ahead of where you are, and you would probably be very surprised at what you accomplish. My biggest regrets in life come from not doing the thing when I should have done it. Something you may not know about me is that I started a YouTube channel 15 years ago, and I was just posting sporadically. And then it got to a point where I'm like, I'm not getting anything out of this. I might as well just quit. And I look back on that with regret because if
Crazy to think 15 years ago is 2010. Oh, man. Oh, where does the time go?
If I just kept at it for a full year, I'd probably be way past where I am at this very moment. I know, hindsight's 20/20, but still, while everyone is trying to give you these shortcuts and these short time horizons, get rich quick, get fit quick, whatever it is, adopt a mindset of I'll do it for as long as it takes. Want to get myself to a specific shape? As long as it takes. Want to build a business? As long as it takes. What this mindset does is it allows you to make mistakes. It allows you to not try to be perfect. It allows you not to go all or nothing. So instead of giving yourself 6 weeks or 6 months or whatever, give yourself a full year to really attract this level of success that you want in your life. I promise you, this is one of the best ways to avoid regret. So when you're watching this, I want you to remember to not take my word on any of this. I am a person on the internet who has experienced all the things that I just talked about. Stress test these in your own life. And as Bruce Lee said, absorb what is useful and reject what is useless. And that is my cue to stop right there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video. I just reached the right page of...
I like that video.
I'm 45 and...
I'm going to subscribe.